What's up, everybody? We're back with episode 17 of Makowski's Minute. We got Chan, bass player from The Howl, coming on back.
What
Love
up?
having you on the show, man. Thanks for coming on and doing the Sabbath.
Love coming here, man.
So, last week we were doing Sabbath, and this week we're doing Sabbath. We got Volume 4, man.
Yeah.
I love this album. I think this is my favorite Black Sabbath album, man. So let's check it out on the inside. Really cool how they set this whole thing up too. I mean, it's like book style. It's one of my favorite albums to really go through, kind of. It's just really, really cool. It's really well put together. I don't know. It's awesome. But all right, released in September of 1972, and it was certified gold by November of '72. It was number 8 in the UK and number 13 in the US Billboard. Rolling Stone named it number 14 of the 100 greatest metal albums of all time.
So this was ahead of Master Reality. I'm surprised, actually.
Master Reality was 34. Paranoid was number 1.
Yep.
And Volume 4 was number 14.
I'm surprised. So was this, do you know, was this the next one after Paranoid, or was there anything in between? Like 1 and 14? Was there a Sabbath album in between, or...
Probably, in between there?
Probably not, right?
I'm not sure.
It probably wouldn't have been if I had to guess.
I don't know.
Because if they had Master Reality, maybe self-titled. Maybe.
Hey, if any of you out there can tell us that, let us know in the comments. Is there one in between? We don't know. Let us know. But I know that this was the first album that they recorded in America, in LA. They recorded it, which... was strange. Tony Iommi actually said recording out in LA was a distraction for them. There's a lot of cocaine going on in there. And the actual working title for it was Snowblind, from the song Snowblind, which is actually my favorite song on there. But the record company was like, nah, we're not gonna do that.
We know what you get. We know what you boys should do.
You know that part in the second verse where you whisper cocaine, Ozzy? No. So they put the kibosh on that real quick and just ended up calling it Volume 4 because it was the 4th studio album by the band. I mean, it's a great album, though. What do you think, Chad?
I really like this album. This album's interesting to me because it's not one of my all-time favorite Sabbath albums, but I really like it. And the interesting thing about this album to me, right off the bat, is the album or the track listing itself. So you're looking at, you've got different style names, from Sabbath anyways. Laguna Sunrise, St. Vitus's Dance, Under the Sun, Cornucopia. The names themselves kind of just stick out.
Yeah.
And the first one of their instrumentals on this, called FX, is an odd little number and an odd little ditty for you.
It really is,
It's just FX.
Yeah.
It's F, X, and... It's just effects.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And, I mean, this album is great. It's a great album, and even the members of the band say that it's a great album, but they all kind of agree that it was the beginning of them kind of falling apart. They're in LA recording for the first time. There's a lot of drugs going on, and I read multiple times it was kind of the seeds of demise were sown in this album for the classic lineup of the band. And, I mean, it's just sad. It's a great album, though. And even with the song on it, even with the success of the album, the single they had off it was Tomorrow's Dream, which didn't chart. So.
And, it is odd, isn't it? We were talking earlier about how a band, they have still a high-charting album overall, yet the radio player, whatever it was, didn't get that single up to where it might have been, And it's an interesting thing that Changes... isn't Changes their first piano ballad?
I believe so.
As far as I know.
As the first sounding Sabbath tune like that. There's nothing. I mean, Changes is a softie.
Yeah, it is. Which is cool that's what I love about a band like Sabbath, is that they always kept their identity, at least when Oz was in the band. They always keep their signature sound, but they always were adding in these different elements that you might not expect, and you go, oh, that's refreshing. That's different. I wasn't expecting that. Mm-hmm. And I think Changes was that on this album.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
But yeah, there's some heavy numbers, man. Under the Sun, the last track, the way that just pummels you when that thing comes in, man.
And again, I gotta say, it surprised me reading that. I mean, the band members felt so distracted while recording this album because it's a great album, man. I mean, it really is my favorite Sabbath album. I love it, man. Snowblind is my favorite tune all the way.
It's such a great album. I love that song, man. And I was reading that Supernaut, believe it or not, was Frank Zappa's favorite song.
Oh, really?
And John Bonham was extremely into that song.
I like that too. Well, Bonham and Tony Iommi were like BFFs.
They're buds.
They're good buds, man. Back in the day, man. And again, like we said with the last Sabbath albums, 72, as heavy as these albums were, even for 72, I mean, there was nothing else out that was like this anywhere.
And this was, I think that this album was kind of, in my opinion, this was the catalyst to what Sabbath was to become. And I'm talking even into the 80s Sabbath stuff. If anyone's familiar with the Dio era or the Tony Martin era, this is, I think, a very eclectic Sabbath where, as you hear it, this is Sabbath. You hear this? And, it's got softer melodies at times, some different vibes going on with Sabbath, like the piano.
And then going into just heavy,
heavy stuff.
Throat, though, too.
Almost more orchestral at times, but then it would pummel you back. And I think that led into Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath next, and then Sabotage. This was the seed, I think, for all of what was to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our Sabbath review. And Chandler, it's been a hell of a time having you on, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
It was
We're
really
gonna
fun.
have to have you back too.
I would love to.
Hey, well, say goodbye to Chandler. We love having him on. That ends Sabbath, and we'll catch you guys next week for another episode of Makowski's Minute.
Thanks, guys. Peace.